All right, hey everyone. Thank you for checking this out. This will be a little bit different than most every other video I've made, I guess. So this will be a little bit unique content where I've occasionally complained about bannings before. I thought now that we've sort of uh, went through the biggest tournament, of the year by a wide margin with almost 1,200 players, which was awesome at North America Eternal Weekend. We'll sort of go over, hey Finn, hey Unearthed Sniper. I'll go over sort of what I played, what I was thinking when I played it, and then the results of the tournament. And then also someone had scraped the data to sort of look at win percentages of all the decks. And then more of my opinion on what needs to happen to sort of make the format a lot more interesting. So first and foremost, I played mono red. I did borrow a deck from someone, so I wasn't very picky. I was very happy just to be there and play. I knew the format wasn't great going in, and I planned it for months ahead, and I was just wanted to hang out with friends, meet people, and just sort of like have the vibes aside from playing. I'll get to watch vintage and paper, which is always cool. So regardless of that. I ended up playing mono red, which is something I did think was good. I had, my last were like 4-1 trophy, 4-1 top eight, so I was doing well with mono red. And if you paired into Eldrazi or even Mystic Forge, I think you had pretty good matchups. Even versus like traditional Nadu, like what Bailey played in the finals, I think was a very good matchup. And yeah, so I ended up facing. So here's cool. We get to check this out actually. So on mono red. So I was only on 3 broadsides because of the person who loaned me the deck didn't have 4 to loan, so I ended up with only 3, which was honestly fine. I put in a Fiery Confluence over it and actually never drew the Fiery Confluence main deck the entire tournament. So I don't think it really mattered. Then the sideboard sort of. I was thinking about putting 2 Mindbreak traps over the Disruptor Flutes, but ended up going with the flutes, which was fine. I didn't face any decks I needed traps for. The deck was good, and one thing I learned while playing the deck, and as I've seen throughout the weekend, is that Vexing Bauble is insane, and just sort of having something that needed to be countered on turn 1 before you played your other thing was really busted. The deck itself, I think, was good. Like Fables, such a great card, and Broadside's busted, and the One Ring is absurd. I did get on camera for the first round versus Sahar in the mono red mirror. I had the One Ring, and she did not, so I won won that match, and I think it pretty much came down to. I don't really think there was. I did have a good time, not when I was not playing Magic. So a lot of what happened. One thing I've noticed that just with my deck or with a lot of the decks in the format, even when you watch the top eight, there's a lot of non-games. Like probably more non-games than I've experienced ever playing Legacy before. So, anyway, I went over my deck, but let's just look at the top eight. So, or even 9, like you look at 9-2 records and whatnot. We have here Mystic Forge combo, which ended up winning the whole thing, which is just absolutely the best combo deck in the format, it seems. We've seen we saw them do. If you watch the I forget it was finals or semifinals, they went turn 1 Grim Monolith, key, turn 2 Eldrazi command for, or not Eldrazi, a Kozilek's command for X's 10, which scryed 10 cards, found a Karn, went Karn Lattice on turn 2, which was pretty absurd. Then you have Bant Nadu. This Nadu is the version that I was playing a lot of with the Court of Calling and Gaia's Cradles. I thought this version was better than Bant. So it was cool to see that make it very far. Then you have Cephalid Breakfast with obviously Nadu again. So this is like Nadu Breakfast. That's like Bant Nadu. So another combo deck that uses Nadu. Ari with Painter, which is really cool to see in the top 8. Mystic Forge again. Death and Taxes squeaked in. There's always that one Death and Taxes player, who grinds it out. So respect. Looks like the I forget what people come up with this, something kitties or whatever with the broadside and the Ajani, but pretty cool to see that in the top 8. And then your boogeyman of the format with the blue-black reanimator. So if you look just at the top 8, and so one thing I've heard people say is, oh look, there's not many frogs in the top 8. Like, why do we care about frog? So so what people realize is to beat frog, you really just have to run them over with combo. And so what you see is Mystic Forge, Nadu, Painter, Mystic Forge. That's 6 combo decks in the top 8, which is pretty ridiculous. With 3 Mystic Forge showing, and if you look at the data from thanks to Matt Chow on MTG Legacy, a subreddit, posted how where are we looking? Mystic Forge combo down here with 40 players had a 61% win percentage, which is just bananas. Like that is just such a crazy win percent. I've seen the deck went through multiple no rods. I've seen it went through Collector Roof. I've seen it win just. The deck has so many different angles of attack. You can win with your, Karn Lattice. You can win with giant Saga tokens and Manifold Key to make them unblockable. You can win with Glaring Fleshraker, draining them. You win and then you have obviously the One Ring that's drawing through your deck to make all this happen more consistently. And you have the mana, which is better than it's ever been. The Urza's Workshop, Planar Nexus, Urza's Tower, slotting in with the Ancient Tomb and Urza Saga. So I'm going to get to what I think should be banned. I do I do think that I understand why people want that banned, and so things have to come out of this deck, right? Because I've seen it beat multiple hate cards, and so I think it's more than one thing. So the deck is just busted. I did well with it when I was playing like Helm of Awakening in it, just because I could, like you just, the deck was so powerful that it simply did not matter. If you know what I mean. Like, you could just do, I was playing like Vexing Baubles with the Helm of Awakening and countering all my own stuff, and it simply just didn't matter. Like, you'll just trophy it anyway, unlike the one that I played. Well, yeah, you could win through Null Rod because of a couple things. Mainly, it's Fleshraker, right? Let's look at the list to see it. Like, if you bet so they have Null Rod. There's also this beautiful tech in the board of 3 Boseiju who endures, right? And 1 Portable Hole. So they can actually just Boseiju the Null Rod, which can't get countered, right? Like unless they're running Stifle. Like, so you can just uncounterably get rid of your Null Rod and then win again. They unlock all their mana and things again. Like, the Mystic Forge deck is only running 2 Mystic Forges because of how these lists have been built recently. The mana is absolutely insane, right? Which is why so people are going off on Ancient Tomb, and like Ancient Tomb has always been like a powerful land, but it's never been like broken, right? Like, when people were playing Mud, right, with Ancient Tomb when I started, they're playing mono red. It's in Sneak Attack, Show and Tell, but it was never this like dominant deck, right? It was, I would play it in people play it in like Initiative, but it was never like, I mean, obviously with White Plume, after White Plume got banned, it was never, but it's like now with these other lands, it's just so crazy. So Oof dies to Kozilek's command, and Force of Vigor gets countered by Vexing Bauble. So, which is why the deck just rolled everybody, because even if you packed all these answers, they just have that many answers back, right? Like, and it's brutal, and you can still just win with Glaring Fleshraker, right? Glaring Fleshraker is not an artifact, and it doesn't get stopped by your Collector Roof, and it just drains for the win. You can still Karn for Ensnaring Bridge or something. But Story Silence is the same thing. They have 3 Boseijus on the board, and a Portable Hole, and if they want to, so there's just so many ways that it's very resilient, right? It's great. It's a great deck. That Boseiju in the board was a great innovation. It made it even stronger. Yeah, if you do main deck Stony Silence, I mean, you can still just get drained out by Fleshrakers. So they're not, like, obviously it's a thorn in their side, but they're never cold to it, which is, and also they could sideboard, Karn can get Portable Hole to get rid of your Stony Silence main deck, even, you know? Like, but yeah, and that's something else, right? The format right now is so combo heavy, and the combos are all so different, right? So so oh yeah, so for those who don't know, Planar Nexus is a busted land card. So Planar Nexus, in addition to being all the others Urza's lands, has the ability to, let's pull it up here, add 1 mana of any color by using a colorless. Hey Dukes, how are you? I am here, maybe saying some of the stuff that you're thinking. Oh yeah, I got to play Sahar. Yeah, round 1, that was cool. And it put us up, so that was neat. So Planar Nexus came into the format and really just busted out the mana, right? So it gives you colored mana, and it also makes your let's go back here, your Urza's Workshop better, and it makes your it doesn't, it makes your Urza's Workshops better, and it makes your Urza's Tower generate 3 mana. So I don't know. Yeah, so what you're seeing is when Fair Blue was the best deck, you had a way to attack, right? You could say Delver's the best deck, right? Like, and you know you're going to face it a bunch, and you could sort of combat it. But right now, when you have so many different combo decks running it, it's like, so your Mystic Forge hate is different than your Bent Nadu hate, which is different than your Reanimator hate, right? So you're gonna have to have so much different hate for your sideboards, and then none of that. But then it's like when you rush Reanimator, do you have your removal when they have Frog? Do you have their Grave hate when they have their Reanimator plan? Do you have an answer that could kill a Barrogoyf post board? So, and then it's like, all right. So when you look at Southwood Breakfast used to be a graveyard centric deck, where when you took out the graveyard, they would have to play this fair Urza Saga attack you type plan, which was slow, and you could battle through that. But when they also just have Nadu, which draws their deck into like their Force of Wills, like it becomes a lot more difficult to try to beat this. So what Nadu did is just so gross. And then obviously you have the Reanimator, which is just Psychic Frog, Metamorphosis Fanatic, the Entomb Reanimate package, and then sideboard, Orcish Bowmasters, blah, blah, blah. You ran on opponent came in second? Bailey? Nice, yeah. Yeah, I thought this deck was busted. If you've been on the channel before, you've seen me play the Nadu list with the Cradles and the Court of Callings, and I always thought that one was better. I've never played Nadu Breakfast, but I tried playing like the Bant Control version of it, and I thought the Cradle version is so much faster. And in the format as it stands, you really, really have to be so fast. I did lose to Cephalid Nadu Breakfast when I got triple Force, double Encore, double Nadu'd, and that felt pretty bad. But anyway, so this is props to 15th place playing Rhinos, huh? Wow, respect on that. So, and that's what I'm going to get into with what I think should be banned. Sort of looking at, this is just one tournament, but sort of how they're represented, the win percentages, and just like what you're going to need to sort of combat these strategies. And I think at a certain point, when you have to dedicate, 8 cards to one deck in your sideboard, and even that's not enough, we're sort of, oh, you're good. No, you're good. Absolutely. I'm going to get to it very shortly, because I want to go over each of the ones. And like I said, I sort of, as the title indicates, I sort of want to do a Scorched Earth, and I'll explain why also. Okay. Now, with the way WotC has done bans, they were very, very weak and hesitant, and did not do proper bannings for Grief the first time. Right? Everyone knew Grief had to go. Everyone knew it was going to go. Their quote unquote inside person recommended Grief go, and they said no. So that made us deal with Grief and Frog, right? So we had to deal with that for how long? And then finally they're like, oh, hey, okay, even though Frog's dominating and destroying everything, we're just going to take away Grief to see how it stands, because we're 3 months lagging, right? So now everyone who played the format and knew Frog was ridiculous is like, all right, well, now we're stuck with this for this many months. So now we're at Frog. So we could have already had been at a point where we see what the format is without Frog. but they've lost that opportunity, right? And that is because they are obsessed, or I don't want to say obsessed, but what they want to sort of implement and maintain is scheduled bannings. And scheduled bannings are awful. They're terrible, because scheduled bannings mean, even though we have data that shows the format is terrible, even though people are complaining constantly that the format is bad, like we're just gonna wait 3 months, right? We're still gonna wait. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everyone knows it's terrible. It doesn't matter what it's how many percentages of your challenges or play, you know, or metagame percents. You know, like 25% for frog. Just forget other variants. Is crazy, especially considering that the majority of that is a combo deck. And so, because there are scheduled bans, I am worried that if they just ban Frog, right? If they just ban Frog and the meta does another hard shift or Mystic Forge, you know, just it becomes dominant for months, it's going to be awful. It's awful gameplay. It's uninteresting. And I personally don't like having so much of the format be combo, right? I like a healthy format is when tempo, to me, like a tempo aggressive deck, or even a control, like a control deck. I think aside from top counterbalance was never the wasn't the best deck, but having tempo be the best deck, I think, means your format is the healthiest. So because of that, because of what I sort of see as wanting to be the best deck in the format, and because of the scheduled bans, and they will not do something like, hey, we're going to ban 1 or 2 cards. If we continue to see this trend of these decks with overwhelming percentages of being played and above average win percentages, you know, or up 55 to 60%, we're going to take action in like 1 month right after. And if they're not willing to do something like that, to sort of like, we want to see what happens. We know the format is shot because of all the products we're implementing, yeah, that we're throwing at it, and make a change. Then we're sort of left with, okay, I want to ban like 7 things right now, and let's see what happens. Let's just burn it to the ground and sort of start over. So I'm gonna get into the cards I think should be banned. You'll see them on the right, and I'll get to each one. I'm gonna start with the ones I think are the most popular opinion of cards being banned. Hey Jared, nice meeting you. I hope you are doing well. Hope you got home safely and had a great time. Like I was saying earlier, the best part of Eternal Weekend was really just meeting people, talking to people about the format, hanging out. Like that's like the best part of the weekend with the format, was like the just my humble opinion. So let's get into sort of what I think can be banned. Yeah, Gathering is greater than the Magic. Yeah. So I've had opponents, real quick. I had opponents ask me like, how you doing this weekend or whatever, and I would say, you know, I think, oh, like Legacy sucks, but you know, I am happy to be here with friends, you know. And it wasn't meant like I didn't want anyone to take it personally. It was not an attack on them. I feel like I had a couple of opponents that were like taken aback by it, and it's like, you know, when you plan a trip months ahead, especially when you have kids, it's like, I'm going no matter what, right? I'm gonna go, I'm gonna hang out, and it is what it is, as far as the format goes. So definitely nothing against anyone. It was just, yeah, I don't enjoy the format currently. So I was there for the other aspects of it. What's this? And yeah, can we talk about Ninth Place? Yeah, Ninth Place name is pretty funny. Very disappointed. Fire Shoes pointed that out. I guess like they didn't have their name; they just had like their username for whatever reason. And they drew the last round. They actually drew the last round and missed. And the person they drew with made it in. So damn shame for sure. All right. Anything else before I get into the cards? Anyone want to talk about anything before I just get into the cards I think should be banned? You all can yell at me then. You can search by deck name. I mean, you can. I believe you can. You can search by person name, but and then I just someone obviously can because they scraped it to get all the data for deck names. Someone used some sort of a scraper to find it, but I'm not sure if you can actually search. I believe here is just names, right? Let's see. Forge. Yeah, this is just names, so. Oh yeah, the secret spot. Yeah, dude, so if you left the convention center and walked up the escalator that was shut off, and you sort of got an area up there that was nice, like benches overlooking the thing, and no one was up there. So I was like chilling there in between rounds, and I was getting a little too overwhelmed with everyone. Yeah, dude, it had a bathroom up there. It was nice and clean. Like it was like a little sanctuary. Go up there, have a drink of Monster, have some cashews, like sort of relax a little bit and chill. Saito-san, what is up? Hope you are doing well. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And I am going to talk a little bit about why I think Knight of the Reliquary in particular should be banned, because it is just too strong. That's what I've noticed over the weekend. All right, let's get into the let's get into my burning the format rants, and we can go from there, huh? Y'all can let me know what you think. All right, here we go. Here's my list. It's semi hidden, but not really. Number one, I guess I could have covered it. I could have made it dramatic, but it's a little too late. Yeah, I guess I can. Nah, I won't. All right, number one. Psychic Frog. Fuck this card. So this card not only enabled a combo deck to be the number one deck in the format, it makes spot removal like Lightning Bolt, even Flame of Anor pointless. It makes combat pretty shitty. It's sort of like something that it's very difficult. You can always lose combat. And also they can make it fly. For evasion to cantrip whenever they need to. None of that, but if anyone there are people who say the format's fine. God bless them. Peace and love, as Aspiring Spike would say, but no. The card is just it's a joke, and the fact that it's been legal this long is frustrating, and I hate everything about it. Even the exile 3 cards from your graveyard stops things from being surgical, right? You could just remove that and 2 other things to stop like a surgical extraction from happening. Little stuff like that just makes this card particularly. It grows Murktide whenever you want. It's just like all the little things just make it even more frustrating to look at, right? But so if anyone disagrees with me, I'm sorry. I think this is the most straightforward ban in a while. Number 2, which is what becoming more apparent, is Vexing Bauble. Vexing Bauble was a mistake. There's no other way to say it. It seems like it'd be something that would stop combo decks, but it's played by all the combo decks. Like what this has done for Mystic Forge is just absurd. For 1 mana, you can search it with Saga. It can cantrip, even with the dead card. It stops Force of Will, stops Force of Vigor from interacting with combos. Like I'll primarily say Mystic Forge because that was the highest win rate deck. All right, Dukes, take care. I hope you're well and enjoy your month off of Legacy. God bless. So that's sort of what I would do is I'll get rid of Bubble. Like pretty straightforward. Like it's just it was wrong. It was a bad design. Tutorable from Saga, can cantrip, protects you from Vigor, Force of Will, and everything else. And I despise it. Next. Nadu Winged Wisdom. This card is literally a design mistake. It was printed for Commander and got banned in Commander. This card was not tested before it shipped. This card should not be legal in Legacy. Okay? What this card does, and in addition to just being absurd, right? You target it, if you just play it and they go to remove it, you cantrip. That's the worst case scenario, right? like they kill it and you get another card. It doesn't draw, so it's not prevented by Narset or get a trigger from Orcish Bowmasters. And obviously the combo decks that it sort of busts out. So what happens is what this does is, I spoke to Mike about this a little bit, and the way he phrased it is really nice, is that you don't want this creature to be setting the bar for what's playable, right? Like you really cannot be registering something like Knight of the Reliquary when for the same mana you can have a Nadu. Right? Like if you're trying to win. If you like the deck and you love Knight of the Reliquary and you want to play it, then you know that's its own thing. But if you want to win, there's just no way to play another 3-mana creature when Nadu is setting the bar. Right? You have to be able to have a 3-mana creature that not only generates value, but can also be an oops, I win. Right? If that's the only 3-mana creature that you can play is something that would be an oops, I win card, then I think it's bad, it's not enjoyable, it limits deck building, it limits construction, it limits ideas and brewing, because it's like, oh, I'm going to brew another way to win with Nadu instead of any other 3-mana creature that gets printed. So I for just so many reasons, I think it's a pretty easy ban. Yeah, imagine True Name Nemesis. Like True Name and Leovold is like a one of in just Nadu Elves, or Nadu Cradle is probably a better name for it. Yeah, uncounterable off Delighted Halfling and on color, pitches to Force of Will, pitches to Endure. Just everything about this card is just the worst. So, pretty easy, these 3 so far. All right, now we're gonna get into a little bit of, you know, maybe more questionable cards after the first 3. I do think once these get banned, it sort of took a backseat at Eternal Weekend because of the other decks, but I think Sowing Mycospawn from Eldrazi, this card having 2 cast triggers and can consistently be kicked on turn 3 is pretty miserable, and really is one of the main reasons control doesn't exist in the format. When you just have 2 uncountable triggers that can, you know, strip mine, wasteland you, and have the inevitability that Eldrazi has, just control is not a deck anymore. And I think this is probably the card you hit from it. This is sort of, keep in mind, each card I'm saying to be banned, I would like them all banned sort of to keep everything sort of level, right? Because I don't want to just ban cards from only Reanimator and Nadu and then have Eldrazi take over. So it's we're getting there. We're getting there, Harry. We're getting there. All right, we're getting there. But I'll talk about that one. Okay, so I do think you'd have to get rid of Mycospawn for the time being, or not for the time being, but if you sort of went this route. So one that's a hot topic for people that I don't think a lot of people would like banned, but I think probably Entomb has outgrown its welcome. I forgot who had mentioned it. Maybe it was Jeff. One all level. What's 3 cards from Eldrazi banned? Potentially 3, at least two. At least 2 cards. Again, like Eldrazi is just, I want to have it where other decks, like other strategies like that can be played. But anyway, I do think Entomb has outgrown its welcome. It was originally banned in Legacy. They unbanned it, and the creature quality has gotten power crept so hard that I think just Entomb is just too free of a card now. Make people play Faithless Looting, make them play Careful Study, make them actually have to, like, you know, draw into and discard the cards rather than just be able to make them play Buried Alive. Like, Entomb is just, I think it's probably just too busted right now. So. Another one is Troll of Khazad-dûm. So this card was on my was something I thought about. I did not want in the format, but the thing that really pushed me to want to get rid of this is Metamorphosis, whatever that Fanatic is. Fanatic being able to miracle and get this card back after you had cycled it and give it lifelink makes a lot of strategies, you know, very, very difficult to compete with this. It's 5 toughness. It can't be blocked by 3 or more creatures, and you give it lifelink with Metamorphosis Fanatic. I don't know. It also allows you to swamp cycle for a basic swamp if you're Blood Moon locked, and all of a sudden you swamp cycle it and reanimate it, and boom. So I know not a lot of people may be on board with that, but it's just sort of, when I say I want to go Scorched Earth, I mean it. I said let's just be as reasonable as possible when I want things taken out. So look, I want to even things out. You said ban, reanimate, troll, and entomb are fine. Yeah, I'm just not sure anymore with Metamorphosis Fanatic and Animate Dead. I do just think Entomb is it. Maybe you could talk me into reanimate, but I don't know. Like a troll again, troll and Entomb are putting two fatties in, and these are the ones that always like I die to. Like these are the ones that win the game easily. Like I don't think the reanimate wins the spell easily because they'll just put in other reanimation spells, use the first turn of the Thought Seize and do that. You want to ban all three, ban all three. Yeah, the deck's awful. So I want to hit it hard. I want to get rid of at least 3 cards from it. So you have sort of that from the Nadu deck. Vexing Bauble is sort of over here. 3 frogs. This is what I say. Like I want to hit a couple different decks for now. Now, as far as the Mystic Forge deck goes, Top was legal for 14 years. It got banned. The thing is, look, and I understand it making you sad. That is perfectly fine. Like very reasonable to feel that way. I don't. I don't blame you for feeling that way. But if Legacy as a format continues to get these creatures, right? They're gonna keep power creeping these creatures where Grizzlebrand isn't even like playable anymore. Then you have to, in turn, instead of banning every creature that gets printed, you just ban like one thing, right? Which is sort of the Days argument. But I'm not gonna get into Days today. Like I'm not gonna get into Days. I'm sorry. Like because it'll just I miss Days being the best deck, right? That's how sad the format is. I miss Days being the best deck. So yeah. So for now, let's just like Days can be good gameplay when it's a part of like the tempo game plan. Like when it's not protecting this shit. So yeah, Ayavugan is one also. So Ayavugan was something on my list. I was gonna say Ayavugan until I also want to get rid of Kozilek's command. Yeah, linear combo decks are that's exactly it. None, which is sort of why I'm doing like the Scorched Earth because it's way too much combo heavy. It's disgusting. It's not fun. It kills a lot of decks that could be played. So this card was not on my list before, but I think Kozilek's command might just be too good. The modes on Kozilek's command, but the thing about this is, that's the thing. Is like you can ban I. The thing is, like if you ban I, you still have the Mystic Forge deck playing these cards. Excuse me for a second. And we saw that Mystic Forge is the better deck, the better Kozilek's command deck. Kozilek's command being instant speed, being able to interact with graveyards, exiling Collector Oof, like interacting with other combo decks, scrying, like giving you so much card selection. And I don't know if anyone saw this. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I want to see if I can just pull up one of the most absurd. Did y'all see Eternal Weekend? Did you watch? Because I just need to show you something. Card Titan. I believe you're allowed. I just need to show y'all the top 8. What happened? For the top 8, yeah, top 4, top 8, I forget. Let's see. Oh, where? Yeah, where is it? Was it like the last match? Was it the top 8? So that's like the Karn. He popped off there. The match happened so quickly, I think I'm like skipping by it. Alright. I just want to show you what Kozilek's command did. Oh yeah, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay. All right. So yeah. So turn one, Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, key, untap both, pass. Okay? Look at this. So then we go turn two, 1/2 mana, 3/4 mana. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 mana. Kozilek's X is 10. Turn two, Scry 10. What costs 10 mana in the Mystic Forge deck? Tank, and then I'm gonna tell you, it's Karn and Lattice. Okay, you just go card Lattice and the game is over. So, but the thing is, it's like that definitely like slows it down by a little. You can play Basalts, you know. But Kozilek's command, and like I said, it's not only that, but it's the other modes as well. And not only that, but it allows you to play through Null Rod, right? It allows you to play through Collector Roof, Exiles Collector Roof, allows you to just do too much. And also, and obviously with Fleshraker, it's like it kills you right away. So Mystic Forge is fucking juiced. And again, I'm not 100% on this one. This one's over here. What other? This one's sort of over here too. These are the ones I'm like pretty set on. But like the thing is, it has to be Kozilek or something else though. And what you get into is like it could be Kozilek or the One Ring. Here's another card. The One Ring obviously indestructible. It's gonna get banned in Modern. Draws a million cards. Akaleth, how are you? D&T Wizard. Hope you're doing well. So I was thinking if Frog and Troll were axed, could Entomb stay? Like, I'd rather Entomb get banned than Troll, but I want to see more than one thing taking out I need more than one thing taken out of this deck. And so Troll is annoying because of like I said, the Fanatic, and Entomb is annoying because the power creep on creatures is just so significant. But yeah, so and that's the thing, is that every blue deck needs 4 consign on the board. You when Mystic Forge just put up a 62% win rate, and then I go Aspiring Spike picks it up to play in like last chance qualifier, plays in versus the mirror the first round, wins versus the mirror the next round, loses, and people are going to realize how good the deck is. Great innovations with the Besejus in the board, so you can play through even more hate. And the mana base is so good. Now, another one that got brought up is Ancient Tomb. I saw this. I was never a big person on Ben and Ancient Tomb. Yeah, exactly. That's sort of why I'm doing this sort of again. This is just like broad speak. I don't know if they'll all get banned, but I do think this sort of mentality has to be taken. And I sort of said earlier why. It's because they want to stay with these scheduled bans. They want to say in 3 months we'll ban if we need to. Until then, deal with the format as it is. Doesn't matter if data supports that it's shitty. It doesn't matter if there's community outcry. Just deal with it for 3 months, which is an awful mentality. Yeah, so this is why I'm sort of saying I want to go Scorched Earth. So Ancient Tomb, okay. The one that requires much talking. We all know what it does. So here's what I want to talk about Ancient Tomb. The Ancient Tomb mana base has gotten so much better. So Ancient Tomb used to be like Ancient Tomb and City of Traders and Crystal Vein and whatever else, Cloud Post. The fact that the mana base has gotten so good that they can only play 3 Urza Sagas because the Urza's Workshop Planar Nexus Urza's Tower makes so much mana. Painless mana. Oh, who got me? Harain, what's up, dude? Pleasure meeting you. And a great finish here. Here's Harain right here. They went 9-2 with a pretty sweet Dreadnought list, so mad respect. But yeah, so the Mystic Force mana base has gotten very good. So I can understand now why people want to say Ancient Tomb maybe can go. It would essentially just slow the deck bed down by like one turn and just not allow those absolutely comically good ones. Banning Tomb and Bubble makes days even better. Yes, I'm aware, but after it's like grass is always greener on the other side. I think that having a tempo deck be the best deck might be the healthiest thing for the format. I think it should be an aggro deck should be the best deck of the format. It's probably like typically one of the best things. So in Legacy, the closest you can get is like a DRC Delver, deck. Yeah, so like when I'm looking at these, it's like if you get rid of just the ring, Eldrazi only loses Mycospawn and they get to keep Command and Ancient Tomb. It may still be a problem because Fleshraker is still there. Fleshraker is insane. The reason Fleshraker isn't here, because I was sort of thinking about getting rid of Command instead. But I think having Fleshraker as like a win con without Command is okay. But if you leave Command, Fleshraker might be too good, and you might have to get rid of like Eye of Ugin. I was thinking about Eye of Ugin earlier, but then it's like Mystic Forge is so much better than it. Holy shit, dude. Absolutely insane. Thank you so much. 10 gifted subs. If you got a gifted sub from Harain, say thank you. And bribe you to play my best friend list. Dude. What an absolute maniac. I was gonna be done with Legacy, but I might have to play play your list, man. That's so kind. Thank you. Let's get through this. Let's get through my ranting first. So Kozilek's Command, I think some combination of these have to go. The issue is that if WotC is going to continue to maintain this wait 3 months or 4 months to make another banning, I something has to go of these, and I have a feeling it's not Ancient Tomb. And then so even One Ring doesn't affect Eldrazi. So if Eldrazi only gets Mycospawn hit, I'm worried it might still be a little too good. So it would have to be something else also. And then sort of this is like my chain reaction of everything else getting banned. Yeah, I think Kozilek's Command. I genuinely think it's Kozilek's Command after seeing yesterday. But let's see what other people have to say and what they do. If things go like this way, then I would kind of want to hit Bowmasters and Beanstalk as well, just sort of as a hand in hand. I don't want to go back to when we all were dealing with Bowmaster mirrors all day, and it's like the best answer to Bowmaster is another Bowmaster. And what we saw is as Bowmaster got replaced, then you could cut your own Bowmasters, so you didn't have to worry about killing their Bowmasters. But if you're making this room by cutting Psychic Frog and having more people go back into that deck, I'm worried Bowmasters will take over, and I'd want to ban Bowmasters. But if you ban Bowmasters, and Up the Beanstalk may take over, and I don't want to see that either. So these are sort of like my chain reaction. I don't expect it to be banned, but would expect it having to be banned in the coming several months later. Yeah, K Command I think is just it's just an unreal card in a format with the mana that they have access to. You'd have to hit the mana so hard for it to not be as playable. So I think that Kozilek Command probably should be the one that goes. The One Ring can go also, like, fuck this card. I played it in mono red. The card is just dumb. And I wasn't even abusing it as badly as anyone else. So that is pretty much my rant for for what I think should get banned. If I had thank you. Tell me if you watching us on YouTube, let me know if you agree, disagree, like me doing this, or dislike me doing this content. Because it was fun. It was fun to talk about. And I'm not saying I am right. This is my opinion with limited data and but this is me honestly trying to take a fair opinion of it. I want to hit. I don't have a deck I like to play personally, so I'd like to think this is pretty objective. I play every deck. I just don't like the format to be shitty where I can't play, where you really, like I said, you sort of have the Nadu problem where this is your baseline for a 3-mana creature, and if you're not playing an oops I win for 3 mana, you're not going to be competitive, which sucks. So I'd like the format not to be in that spot. And I'm not saying my bullshit decks have to top 8 or every challenge or 5-0 or just, but I just want competitive, like interactive, fun gameplay. You know, like that's sort of what I'm looking for here. Do you want anything unbanned? All right. Well, speaking of unbans, I used to, and it broke my heart that Top got banned. I was a long time proponent of having Top come back. I thought it was a stupid banning. I thought they could have banned Counterbalance instead. You know, or just, especially with now Legacy 90% on Moto, clock doesn't really matter for Top. But Urza Saga being printed sort of made that impossible because now you're gonna have way too many tops everywhere. So let's look at the legacy ban list. Let's have a little fun. So obviously not. Arkham's Astrolabe was pretty shitty. Arkham's Astrolabe was really shitty. All decks running basics, and it became 4 Ponder, 4 Brainstorm, and 4 Astrolabe. I got banned the same time as Oko. You don't have Oko to make it a 3/3 anymore, but yeah, I just don't think the format would be better off with Arkham's Astrolabe. I just don't see it being particularly. It's weird that they don't have them linked, like where you can see the card. Like you'd think WotC would just hyperlink it so you can see each card and read it as you're going through. But yeah, it gets rid of Wasteland. The Wasteland strategies are no longer viable, so. Deathred Shaman obviously cannot be unbanned. It's egregious. It's a 1-mana planeswalker, and again, omnipresent in the format. Everyone just play it. Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise Delve is busted. It's restricted in Vintage. It's too fucking good. Sorry. Dreadheart Arcanist. Again, it has that turn 2. Unless you're banning Days, you can't have this card. I'm sorry. Earthcraft can probably come off. Let me double check what Earthcraft is. I think it's that squirrel one, right? This is probably like... Is it a reserve list card? If it's reserve list, that's my only hesitation about would be about unbanning it. Yeah, so that's sort of my issue with unbanning cards in Legacy that are under reserve. Like Survival of the Fittest is probably fine. It's not, I mean, it's nuts, but it's like pretty easy to like interact with as far as, yeah, like power level wise. Like it's fine. Like the combos have become so, it would skyrocket. It would just be bad. It would be bad for a lot of people. And I just, for that reason, I wouldn't want that. EI, obviously Days got this card banned, so we can't have it. Frantic Search is genuinely pretty weak. No, Survival can't be unbanned for the reason I just said. It's on the reserve list, and it would become $1,000. And it's just, I don't think like having this fringe playable deck. Like I think it'd be like a fringe deck, and I don't think it's worth making a card go up to that much money. So I think Frantic Search is fine. It's pretty mid. IMO Jataxian Probe. Probably the most egregious card ever printed, so I would not have this one come back. Goblin Recruiter, for time reasons, they banned it, which I understand. Like, so whatever. I don't think unbanning it would be that great. Grief, we all know that. Gush being banned is fine. Way too powerful, restricted in Vintage, busted as hell. Hermit Druid, we have Oops All Spells, it's powerful enough. I just don't see how this would add anything good to the format. Imperial Seal is honestly probably okay. I genuinely think like Imperial Seal is like, it's just like okay. Like I really don't think it's that good. And I don't think it's reserve list. It's so like, you probably could unban Imperial Seal. Okay, and I don't think it's reserve list. So if it's not, then unban it. Let people have their fun. So Library, obviously no. Luris, no. Mana Crypt. Unban Mana Drain. Unban Mana Drain. Fuck it. It's been reprinted a bunch. It would not see play. If you want to tap 2 mana to counter like a 3 mana spell, like God bless, have a mana drain. I think it's fine. Mana Volt's too good. Memory Jars probably wouldn't add anything to the format. Mental Misstep is terrible. Like would everyone would run 4. Mind Twist, I would not unban because I think it just incentivizes people to just go dark rit, dark rit. Would Library see play? I think it probably. I think the thing is like I don't think Library is too good. It's just a reserve list card that costs $500. Like it would become a $2,000 card. Like, and I just don't think that that's. I think that's good for anybody. I don't even know if it would be good, but I don't think it's worthwhile to find it. Is it already 2,000? Yeah, it'd be a like, you know what I mean? It'd be like there's just no reason. I'm never unbanning a $2,000. If this was a $5 card that could be reprinted, would I say it's okay? Probably without Moxen, it's probably like okay. I don't know. Who cares? Like I said, Mind Twist, I don't think adds anything good to the format. So I think Dark Rit, whatever. Mystical Tutor is probably fine. Also, if I think Imperial Seal's fine, I probably think Mystical Tutor's fine. Like yeah, people Mystical Tutor for Terminus, like God bless, like go ahead, like that's it, like cool, you know. So I think that's okay. Necropotence, we have our own Necro, that's fine. It could be less fine. It could be less fine. Like the Imperial, I'm very confident about. Mystical, I'm less so. It's probably not worth it. It's probably not worth it to find out. You know what I mean? It's better, but is it that much better that people are going to go down a card? Like Personal Tutor exists for Doomsday. Like, what are you Mystical Tutoring for? Like Force of Will? Like what do you what's broken the Mystical Tutor for? You don't have recall. You don't have PO. Yeah, you're Mystical Tutoring for like a Storm card, which is like the same thing you Personal Tutor for, right? Like you're just gonna do it at instant speed. It's the same card disadvantage spell, so it's probably not great to have, but I don't know. Yeah, Storm's not a deck. Like Storm's not a deck, and I don't know if this is the thing that's gonna make it the best deck ever. Card disadvantage spell. You know they have Beseech now. Like is Beseech better than Mystical Tutor? Mystical can find. Yeah, I mean, you're losing a card just to get a dark to go +2 mana. Maybe. Necro, we don't need that. Oath, we're obviously not doing that. Oka, we all experienced that. Ragavan, Days got you banned, and as long as Days is legal. I can see it being. I understand it's better. I understand it's better, but I'm just saying I don't know if it's good enough. Like going card disadvantage to find force, maybe that's good. Like what deck would even do that though? Like Sneak and Show, Doomsday, maybe. I don't know. Obviously, Charizard isn't coming back. Skullclamp isn't coming back. Soul Ring isn't. Turbine isn't. Survival isn't. Time Vault. Just a cruise. Breach, Vampiric, Wheel of Fortune, White Plume. Out of the rest of these, like Windfall could probably come back, but I just don't see it being. I think it's like Echo of Eons. I think is better than Windfall. Like I think Echo of Eons is just better, right? Zerda, Zerda just if it's the thing is if Zerda works, like Mystic Forge is the best deck, right? You're gonna like put Zerda in. I don't know. But even with the new rule, I don't know. I don't think so. Yawgmoth's Bargain. Yawgmoth's Bargain. 6 mana is a lot. Isn't that reserve list also? I mean, I think it's reserve list, but even if it wasn't, it's probably fine. Yeah. Mystic Forge has 6. Let's unban Zerda. That can only make things better. What do I think are banned? Expressive Iteration, Ragavan are the two main ones. I think I saw a third one. Oh, Dreadhorde Arcanist. Those are the three I think are banned strictly because of days. Like EI was supposed to be a card advantage spell for control, but Tempo got to play it. Ragavan with days backup was impossible to beat, and then same thing for Dreadhorde Arcanist. I think like those are the ones that the ban announcement is December 16th. I want to say so. It's about 3 weeks away. So it's because it was like sort of post yeah, December 16th, yeah. So because it was post giant tournament, I sort of wanted to go over what I thought would have to be. I think again, I'm not alone. These aren't like, you know, I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that several things have to get banned, but this is sort of my reasoning behind them. And why, like, you know, why I think they all should be banned, why I think we need to go Scorched Earth because of the scheduled bannings. They do not care about Legacy. They do not like they had a person tell them to ban Grief and they didn't, and since then I sort of lost respect. Yeah, I just can't expect them to do anything good. So that's about it. If anyone has anything, you know, anything they want to bring up and talk about, that was sort of going to probably be the end of my rant about these. And because it isn't in my deck yet. But yeah, so I'm curious what others. I'm not saying I'm right. This my at the time of recording this, that's sort of what I think should be. I reserve the right to change my mind and be wrong. I often am, but I think I have sound logic for the majority of these. And yeah, I hope some things change. So I think printed cards that make anymore. Printed cards that make Force Will Swords of Plowshare is not good enough. Yeah, I mean certainly I mean well, a lot of these are just fucked. But I do think obviously Force of Will needs to be a card that's you know, it's the glue that keeps the degeneracy together. So I really think we should, yeah, we need to have Force, and Force has to be a card that's played and can interact well with these decks. So with that being said, I'm probably gonna take a break from Legacy until the bannings happen. I'm just not having fun. Like, you know, I'll try my nonsense and I just get reanimated and it tilts me. So I think it's healthy to take a break when things, you know, you aren't really enjoying it. So I'm probably gonna try some other formats.